I was just gonna hop on here and talk about something real quick. There's a lot of these videos going around. Okay, I think the dude's name was like Andrew Tate. He's one of the big ones, all right, about everyone being alpha males and stuff. And I get how it's helpful for some people because there is some relevant information that they say when they talk about those topics. But lately, I mean, I've seen videos where the last few times he just talks about how real men or whatever go around and fuck a bunch of girls and have a bunch of kids and then just let beta male guys go and raise their kids for them. Here's why I think that's not correct here. He says that's what big dogs do, alphas do, because they don't give a fuck. Here's the issue with that. All right, that might have been a useful thing back in the day, right? But he's talking about like in the jungle, everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's just being wild. Why it isn't true, I think, is that real leaders, kings, people like that in the past, even having more numbers would be better. If you're going around and just having kids and then leaving and never raising them, and you're leaving beta male people to go and raise your kids, then it's less likely that your kids will know how to succeed. So I don't think that is the best way or what an alpha male would do. Now, sure, you can go and have multiple kids, but I think an alpha male would be able to teach their family how to survive. And then instead of just being one person roaming around, you'd have 10 people running around. And those numbers, along with the skills, would allow you to have more power than just one person. I mean, you would basically be old by like 20 and nothing left to show for it. And he talks like that as well, but he also says that his dad was like a grandmaster chess person and taught him a whole bunch and made him not be a geek, because he became like good at chess and then his dad made him go and do something athletic. So, in his own stories, if his dad wouldn't have been there, it didn't teach him properly, he wouldn't have became what he is today. Now, I'm sort of the same mindset, not really like when it comes to kind of broadening their horizons. Like if my kid, I would probably try to get them to do a little bit of everything as well. Because what I've noticed over the years, I've never really wanted to be the best at anything, but I always kind of wanted to be a competitor. So I always needed something that would, put me to where I had the chance to win. I had a chance to compete. But in my mind, it's like, say for instance, they say like only 5% of men in the world can like squat 1.5 times their body weight or something. There's like a limit to all that stuff that they were talking about, right? And then with my body weight, it would have been like 450 or something on bench, 500 or something on squat, and then like 800 or something on deadlift. And I had all of that before I left high school. So realistically, it took me 4 years or something to get to that point. Now, I'm not as strong or fast or anything as I was back in those days. But the fact that I know that it would take me, 4 years or so to get to that point, and I'm not super weak right now. I mean, I'm still pretty damn big. So that puts me in the top 5% of people on the planet just being able to do that, right? Now, the strong men and stuff like that are like the top 1% on the planet. So you could go and do that, but you're talking about putting in like 100 times the work, food and recovery and everything else compared to just lifting and getting to be the top 5%. Now, that means I would lose versus the top 1% in the strength competition, but I might be able to still be pretty decent uh, at something else like cardio or anything. I know some of those guys are pretty big in cardio as well, but they study a bunch of science. There's a lot like you got to think like back when I lifted a whole lot, I was lifting 6 to 10 hours every day, right? And I was pretty damn strong, pretty damn big, and I was still pretty smart. But that's 6 to 10 hours where I could lift, 2 hours or something, save 4 to 8 hours, and then put that into some other skill. And nowadays, I put that into studying finance and business and stuff. The second point on that is that when he's talking about combat and everything, um, that guy talks about like wanting to box for like street fights and stuff. And I get where he's coming from. He says if you don't go to the ground because that's where, you basically can get outnumbered and get messed up. So boxing is be top or a little bit better. That's fine with that as well. And then a lot of people say like, "Oh, you got to be a big strong dude now to win fights or whatever." But the issue is that you don't require muscle to win fights. The dude says if he could be smart or strong, what would he be? And he would pick strong because he could beat the shit out of a smart person, right? But the issue right now is that you don't need to be strong to win a fight or anything. They have firearms, okay? It took me about, I don't remember how long it was, but when I went through the academy, I think we had like 3 or 4 days of the shooting range. By the time I was done with those couple days of drills, I could hit almost 100% from 50 yards with rifle and pistol, right? So let's say I took those 6 to 8 hours and I started training with weaponry, like guns or whatever, then I don't need to be as strong because brute strength isn't going to help in those situations. So being more diversified and split up into different groups and then being able to pass that information on to people underneath you gives you more power than you just being a solo person that's super strong that doesn't need anybody because everybody needs someone at some point. And that'd be my main counter argument to that. I gotta hop off here for work real quick. So I'm working 512s this week. I'll probably get done Tuesday morning, so I might hop on here Tuesday or something. Um, if I don't, then I'll just work for the next week and then come back at next Monday morning, something like that. But y'all have a good. Didn't really have anything super serious to talk about here. I just wanted to hop on and say